Good day, everybody. I'm John Russell, author of Be a Stand-Up Leader, the ABCs of Getting the Job Done Right. Getting the title right is a big win. So what do we call our podcast?
The Pursuit of Being a Stand-Up Leader.
And we love that because we believe that you out there, somewhere along the line, have some interest in becoming a better leader, a better business person. This book is loaded with chapters A to Z on how to become more successful in the world of business, entrepreneurial business, solopreneur business, advertising, sales, and marketing.
Yeah.
That's our background.
I think the book is really robust. There's a lot of information in there. It's some of it is new. So for me, some of it was new. I'm a little bit younger than John is. Well, I'm quite a bit younger than John is. No offense, John.
30 years. How old are you?
38.
Yeah, I'm 64. So
okay. So
25.
Pretty close. That's fine. Yeah, but there's a lot of really good information in here. It's an easy read. Very consumable book, and I was really delighted. It's probably one of the quickest I read a book when John suggested that I pick it up.
So Jared and I, and Lucas is behind the lights, behind the camera, we decided to put together this podcast and take this book chapter by chapter and break it down to try to give you a little insight. If you want to buy the book, it's on Amazon, but that's not why we're here. We're here to share with you some valuable insight and some information that we've learned over the last 10, 20, 30 years in business. And I'm fortunate because I've had great experiences with a lot of different companies and with a lot of different clients. And that's enabled me to drill down and become a little bit more proficient at understanding how to build successful companies. And, that's where we're at. So today we're going to talk about mass media versus digital media. And it's an interesting subject that comes up a lot.
Yeah.
Because I was born and raised before cell phones.
That's a long time
Yeah.
ago.
We had pagers.
I mean, I remember no cell phones.
Yeah, right. Well, they used to have a little rotary dial on the phone. It's like, it's not quite as far back as having a phone on the wall, but it's cool to have experience if it can create value. So when we're involved in advertising campaign development, Jared develops campaigns, I develop campaigns. We're working for small business owners. We're working for home service companies. We're working for medium-sized companies. And we always have to go in and help analyze the ad budget to determine how are we going to be the most effective with the money that we have based on the current situation inside the company. Because people hire us when their business is doing well, but they want to do better, and they're kind of plateaued, and they're doing the same things, and their advertising isn't really giving them the results that they need, and their website's not really bringing in new business, and they just don't know how to get to be able to do some of the things that are required today as fundamental basics. And I'll call video a fundamental basic.
Yeah.
Not everybody's into video.
Right.
And there's reasons for that. And I think mostly because people can't afford it. They don't understand it. They don't know how to use it. And they don't know how to create content so that it can be shared on YouTube and in social media channels to tell the story of your business, right?
Yeah.
And help customers connect up with what you do and why you do it.
Yeah, not using it the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, like, going back to what you're saying, like, going into companies and helping them scale to the next level, I think most companies, or a lot of companies that I talk to, marketers, young marketers, are so enthralled with the digital aspect of advertising and not even throwing a lot of shade at, I don't know why I said that.
That's okay.
But throwing a lot of shade at mass media as it's like too old school and doesn't work. And that's a lot of BS because
they don't understand.
They don't understand. They don't know what they don't know.
Right.
Mass media is such a prevalent strategic move to take advantage of when it comes to building your marketing strategy. Having said that, it's very costly compared to, or it can be costly compared to digital.
Well, is it costly if it gets results?
Touche.
Okay, so mass media, in my opinion, is the only way to really brand a business today and have any sort of memorability in the minds of the consumers. Because when you flash through your Google search, what do you take away from that about the business besides the name?
Right.
Not a whole lot.
Yeah.
So, where do most people see digital ads?
On their phone.
On their phone.
Yeah.
I think the last time I looked, about a week ago, 70% of all searches are done on the phone today.
I think that percentage is going to be a lot higher. It's
climbing.
When you approach your websites or when you approach your business, you want to have the mindset of mobile first, because so many people are using
you have to design all your websites and all your collateral so that it shows up on the Android and on the iPhone.
Yeah.
And on the iPad.
Yeah.
And on a browser.
It's all mobile first digital.
Right.
Is important. But I think we're in this weird time where people are understanding how much of distraction these things are.
It's addicting.
And there's most people, I take that. People, stand-up leaders and people that want to get dialed in and more focused are starting to put that stuff away. So how you're getting in front of people other than digital advertising, that's where mass media comes in.
I was thinking today, in preparation for this meeting, how much time do people spend with the various digital channels? I'll run them down. YouTube. You spend a lot of time on YouTube?
I do, yeah.
Well, you're a producer.
Yeah.
And you have your own channel.
Right.
I have my own channel.
Yep.
But I don't spend a lot of time on YouTube. But when I want to learn something about how to do something like fix my boat or repair a flat tire or hang a screen door.
Anything.
YouTube's got it.
Yeah.
So you watch the video, right? The first thing you got to do is get through the first video.
Right.
The second ad, okay, is you can skip it in 5 seconds.
Right.
So if you're not the first guy with a compelling message, your chances of getting anybody's attention are pretty small. Really small.
Like in that
super small.
In that 5 seconds, if you're doing a pre-roll ad,
yeah, right.
You gotta get your name, you gotta get your what you do, you gotta bring the value in. And
why?
But then, yeah,
I don't mean to disagree with you completely, but I believe, because I was brought up in this crazy advertising world, the first 5 seconds you have to sell the reason why you should watch the rest of the commercial.
Right. That's another
Otherwise,
part of it.
I don't even care.
You have to assume that most people are going to skip that.
But you're right. You're going to see their name and right. What do they do? Right. You're hoping that's going to sink in.
Yeah.
What are the odds? Okay. This is a real question, that ad is going to come up again the next time you're on YouTube. Zero.
Yeah.
It's a frequency of a half.
Unless
0.05.
Yeah, I've seen it repeat over and over. But I mean, still, if it's not compelling enough to get me to get my attention.
How often do you go to YouTube?
I'm on YouTube.
Yeah, I know, but let's talk about the regular Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
I think most people are going to YouTube. YouTube gets about 2.8 billion users every month.
I'd like to know how many times a user looks at it per day.
Well, that's a good question.
Well, that is a good question. Okay, so let me go on here. How about YouTube TV? You ever watch that?
No,
It's a subscription. It's like $100 a month.
Do those have ads?
Yes.
They do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So that's like a TV channel. It's like Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, YouTube TV.
Yeah.
Okay, so how about Facebook?
Facebook.
I have a love-hate relationship with Facebook.
Yeah, I'm not on there as much.
Well, I have to be because I'm in business to be on Facebook, and my clients are on Facebook, and I'm on Facebook, and so now I got to deal with Facebook. And, you know, it isn't that much fun when you understand the business side of it. Most people don't know that business.facebook.com is where you really go to advertise.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is people who are boosting a post are getting ripped off.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a bad strategy.
I think Facebook advertising overall is kind of it's like a necessary evil.
It can be good.
It
can
work.
work.
Not great.
But here's just my advice today. If you're a stand-up leader out there and you think boosting a post on Facebook is going to work for you, save your money and call us and we'll explain the difference between boosting a post and business.facebook.com, which are two completely different entities.
Not user-friendly either. Just a side.
Well, they don't have any customer support.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
Zero.
Yeah.
If you have a billing problem, there's nobody to call. If somebody complains about your post and puts up a black flag like you're a bad actor, you're done. You're toast.
Yeah.
It's not exactly what I would call your best option.
Right.
But it's there, and you have to recognize it.
Correct.
Because there's a lot of ads on Facebook.
Yeah.
And you'll see some local ads on there, but the majority of them are not local.
This is a side note. Like on my phone when I had Facebook on there, I would scroll through. I would see every 4 posts would be something different. It would be someone from my wall or someone from my friend group.
Right.
A sponsored ad, a suggested thing,
right.
And then a group that I followed.
Right.
So every 4th post would be a sponsored ad.
Oh yeah.
Right.
It's
and
a
then,
formula.
Yeah. So it's. I don't know. It's just
so here's another thing about.
I'm going off on a tangent.
No, we're on the right track here. This is pretty much the way this segment was going to go. People don't realize. Well, some people do.
Right.
Facebook is listening to your phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yep.
So I could be sitting here and talking about. Here's my phone. Turn on to Facebook. I think we should take a vacation to Colorado. Bang! Guess what's the next ad up in my phone is trips to Colorado.
Yep.
So, they own your phone here a little bit. Google does the same thing, by the way.
Well,
you can turn your phone off.
Right. If you look at when you download an app and you look at the conditions
right.
that you need, it's on there that listen to audio messages and phone. Well, yeah, because they're selling your data. That's how Facebook makes money.
But they're listening to you all the time.
Correct.
So be careful what you say when you're around your Facebook page. Instagram, owned by Facebook.
Yep.
I'm not a big
Meta.
Instagram guy, but I see the power of it, and there's an awful lot of people on it, and it's a channel that if you're going to advertise, you got to consider it.
I think there's a different group of people on Instagram than there is on
visually
Facebook.
Oriented.
Well, yes. What's really cool about Instagram is I remember when it was strictly pictures. It was a picture site.
Right. Now it's videos.
And now it's more video heavy because video just made this huge jump, this huge boom.
Well, that's what
keeps
really cool. Viewers.
Yeah.
Is they want to see a video.
The attention span of a viewer is like 6 seconds.
On video?
Just in general, 6 seconds.
So it's 2 seconds on a picture. It's 6 seconds on a video.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
But you're more likely to stick around and watch a video.
Yeah, I do.
Than you are to look at a stupid picture.
A video link
is
1,200% more likely to be shared than a text or picture link.
So there are so many channels. Yelp is another channel where you can do reviews for restaurants or businesses. It goes on and on and on. So what's your guess as to the time spent with each ad delivery system? That's what these are. How much time do you think people spend
If you're swiping, well, then it's just a swipe. So a second or less.
Okay, not much.
Yeah.
I mean, you may have your phone open all day, but what are you doing? You're texting, you're scrolling, you're searching, you're checking your apps.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of consistency there. It's pretty hard to build a brand.
Yep.
It's pretty hard to build consistency. I'd say it's impossible.
I think that I agree with you because if people are searching for something or whatever, they're gonna search for it, and there's no brand recognition because they're just swiping so fast. How much of that?
It's a name and a link.
How much of that information do you retain when you swipe through?
If they click the link and they go to your website and your website's a rock star, you got a chance.
Right.
And I think that's the real goal. The real goal of digital is not to communicate my brand on that second or two, but to get people to go to your website where you can
capture them,
give them a chance to learn more about your business and hear more about your story. So legacy media, let's talk about, we're bashing digital a little bit, but not really, because we all use Google.
Yeah.
We all use YouTube. They're a necessary part of a great advertising strategy.
But not the full 100%.
Not 100%.
It's just parts.
I know you had a client that was putting all their money into pay-per-click, and I'm like, Jared, man, there's something wrong with that balance.
That's why they brought me in, to help balance it out.
I'm glad you're doing that.
But yeah, oh man.
I had to explain a little bit about how different media work so that you can wean them off of that heroin. It's like heroin. When you're on Google pay-per-click, it's like, that's where all my business comes from. Right, I can't drop that.
All that stuff is like people that have a need. You're not building a relationship with the customer.
There's no relationship with digital.
Yeah, you have to. But with mass media, let's talk about that. There's a lot more of a relationship.
A chance to have a better relationship exists.
Yes.
People will spend more time. Now, we were talking about outdoor a minute ago.
Yep.
You only have 5 or 6 seconds when you're driving down the highway and you see a billboard.
Yep.
And we both know that there are some creative designs are better than others.
There's
right? Black on black doesn't do you any good.
If I have to try to guess what the hell I'm looking at,
or who the people are that sponsor the board,
or what the words are at the top, I'm gonna be so distracted with the small lettering. I'm not gonna take a look at the rest of the stuff.
I read a billboard the other day for a law firm, and they had a great headline about been in an accident, and then their name was in the upper right-hand corner in white font against a white background with a yellow border. I'm like, I can't see the name of the law firm.
You know what's crazy?
How would I ever be able to know?
When you're building a billboard and you're looking at it this close, it's like this close to you. It looks great.
It looks great.
It looks great. Take 10 feet back and take a look.
Or drive by it.
Right. These people are going past it at 60 miles per hour.
In the outdoor industry, you're supposed to drive your client around to look at the locations.
Yeah.
So I'm critical of outdoor because I used to work there.
Yeah.
And I know what good design looks like because I've spent my whole life studying it and learning that you've got to put the name of the business in a prominent position along with a call to action. Yep. And you only got 6 words and 6 seconds.
Yeah.
So you better be pretty frugal and pointed in terms of what you're putting forth. Okay, so let's talk about radio.
Yeah.
There's 5-second commercials, and there's 30-second commercials, and there's 60-second commercials. The majority of radio outlets today want you to run 30s because they can fit more units in per hour. And a 60 is a long time to drag on a message. If you think about it, it's forever.
It's a minute.
It's you better really have a compelling
on the radio
story going. Yeah, right. Yeah. I'd rather listen to my next favorite song. The problem with radio is people can hit the button.
Right.
If they don't like the ad, they're gone.
I know you're a huge proponent of radio. I'm not big on radio because I think the younger generation has all the apps and it pays for it and it's ad free. So
I believe there's some truth to that.
I think the legacy media of radio is slow. I mean, it's still there. It's still prevalent. But
not what it used to be.
It's certainly not what it used to be.
No, but it still can be really effective. And you have to build your campaigns with, 'cause not what it used to be. No, but it still can be really effective. And you have to build your campaigns with, 'cause not what it used to be. No, but it still can be really effective. And you have to build your campaigns with, 'cause not what it used to be. No, but it still can be really effective. And you have to build your campaigns with, 'cause not what it used to be. No, but it still can be really effective. And you have to build your campaigns with, 'cause not what it used to be. No, but it still can be really effective. And you have to build your campaigns with, 'cause not what it used to be. No, but it still can be really effective. And you have to build your campaigns with, 'cause not what it used to be. No, but it still can be really effective. And you have to build your campaigns with, 'cause not what it used to be. No, but it still can be really effective. And you have to build your campaigns with, 'cause not what it used to be. No, but it still can be really effective. And you have to build your campaigns with, 'cause not what it used to be. with a specific strategy in mind.
Yeah.
Timing.
Yep.
Messaging.
Frequency.
Yeah. Reach, frequency, and consistency. I tell you, are the three things I always go back to.
Yep.
How many people are you reaching? How many times are they going to see the ad? We know they're going to see the ad.
Yep.
And you can pretty much document that by the Nielsen listenership surveys.
Yeah.
It's fairly accurate. I wouldn't say it's 100% accurate.
Right.
Same thing with television.
Yeah, that's a big one right there. Like when I look at television, traditional television, because there's OTT, which I think that would be under digital, but traditional TV is like mass reach.
Yeah.
You're looking at
population.
11,
the 6 o'clock
11
news
counties
is a big deal.
Yeah.
The 6 a.m. news is a big deal. It's the first thing people do in the morning. They either flip on their radio or they flip on their TV.
Yep.
But they're not flipping on their Facebook.
Right.
Unless they're just Facebook addicted.
I would say like other big deals are sports.
Sports are huge,
games,
but
college games.
Okay, let me talk about sports for a minute because we're going to deep dive on this.
Okay.
The problem with sports, and I've sold a lot of sports advertising, is there's only 7 games
right
for Badger football.
Okay.
And they may be at 11 o'clock, might be at noon, might be at 3, might be at 7. So if you're going to sponsor Badger football, your commercials are going to run on a Saturday. You're going to get one commercial in the programming.
Yeah.
Either the pregame, in-game, or post-game. What's the frequency of that?
I think
One.
One.
Oh,
okay.
I had to answer that for you because I know you were stumped.
That's fair.
Okay, but over the course of 13 weeks or 7 weeks, if they watch or listen to every single game from start to finish, they might hear your message a second time.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If they tune in to the third game, they might hear your message a third time.
Depending on where it's at, right?
Pre-game,
I think
in-game, or post-game.
I think in-game is the best place to advertise.
It's also 10 times the cost.
Yeah, well, that's
Right.
that's another thing with
Can you
traditional
afford
TV.
to be an in-game sponsor?
Traditional TV is expensive.
Most people can't.
I paid $4,000 for a 15-second traditional TV spot in a Packer pregame.
Yeah.
And that was
a deal.
It was
That was a deal.
Yeah, I got a deal. But it's
That's a lot of money.
It's expensive.
You know how many radio ads I can buy for that?
I'm sure a lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
Enough to get reach, frequency, and consistency.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the problem that I have with sports, okay, when is Badger basketball?
I don't know.
At night.
Oh. Okay.
7 o'clock.
Yeah.
If you were to buy Badger basketball and get one commercial per game, it might be this Wednesday. It could be next Saturday. It could be, when is the next game?
It's not frequent.
There's no way you can get connected to the sport enough as a listener or as a TV viewer. Better chances of buying television, even though it's more expensive. But the problem that I have with sports is even Brewer baseball in Wisconsin, 9 innings.
Yeah.
How long is that? 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
That's a long time to ask a consumer to sit and either watch the whole game and not get up during stop sets, or not turn the radio down in between innings.
Yep.
You can't get reach, frequency, and consistency with sports.
I think,
and I've sold it.
I think there's a small part of the population that is just diehard fans that aren't going to step away. Right. But I agree with you, and we don't need to.
And if you're on every week, you're going to build a relationship with that high end.
Correct. I think like using traditional TV as a strategic move to get that reach, if you're doing a special promotion, makes sense. It makes sense to spend the money on that maybe once.
Right, a bigger announcement.
Twice. Yeah, a bigger announcement like a BOGO or what? A special deal.
You're right.
Or recruitment. We've run some recruitment ads on
because you're targeting men who like sports.
Correct.
And that's a good investment.
Correct.
But it's not your main investment.
No.
It's a secondary investment.
Yeah.
So if you got a lot of money after you've got your branding campaign established, you might want to buy some sports.
Yeah.
But it isn't going to give your business the kind of brand identity lift.
Yeah.
And every time I hear a client on sports, I'm like, wow, I could help them get a better branding schedule and show them how to reach the total audience and not just a sliver of men
correct
who are addicted to sports.
I think it really comes down to differentiating your marketing strategy between mass media and digital advertising, traditional versus digital. Having a more of your spend in traditional and less in digital is the way I would do it. But then making sure that if you want to move forward with TV, you have all your other ducks in a row.
Right.
We have
one
enough
tool?
Correct.
You don't get the newspaper.
What's a newspaper?
Delivered to your house.
No.
I do.
Well, you're old.
I'm 64.
Yeah.
I get it on Wednesdays because that's when the coupons are for my wife. And I get it on Sundays.
Okay.
Do you know what's in that newspaper?
Words?
Not a lot.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Advertising?
So, yeah. I don't think people are going to spend a lot of time generating advertising results from putting all your money in the newspaper.
I don't think people are. I would say that I talked to a client and they were like, oh, it's going to cost us this much for a newspaper ad and we get this and this and this. Right. Like, oh, okay. Because you get all of that, then it makes sense to spend that much on newspaper. But I don't think, unless you're looking for a very niche market, old people,
home services companies,
that maybe, yeah,
are
maybe
all over the newspaper,
maybe. But I think newspaper is and has been over the last 5, 7, 10 years a dying.
I spent
medium.
15 years taking people out of the Yellow Pages.
Oh, okay.
The Yellow Pages is gone.
Yeah.
You know what the Yellow Pages is now? Angie's List. Okay, so I'm just saying.
Yeah.
They evolved, and the Yellow Page phone book is gone. But back in the day, they had to be in there because if you weren't in there, I might go out of business.
Yeah.
Magazines.
Yeah, that's another.
It's kind of like a dying thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because everything's online now.
Correct.
And when people are scrolling through Facebook, that's what they're looking at, magazine articles.
Yep.
That's how it works.
Yep.
And my iPad with Apple News, it's all online magazine articles.
Yep.
All magazines have gone online.
Yep.
And if you want to subscribe, you can.
Yep.
But I'm not interested in subscribing. And if I'm not a subscriber, am I going to get that ad? No.
Yeah.
It's dead.
Yep.
How about billboards?
Billboards are still a big thing.
Powerful.
Yeah.
It's the last mass medium.
If you're using it effectively. You can't have 500 words on a freaking billboard.
Creative is everything.
You have, oh my God, you can't. I drove past a billboard. It was red. The logo had red in it. And they
terrible.
used red lettering with a black stroke. I'm like, what are you doing?
It's terrible.
Why?
I know. It makes us cringe.
Oh my God.
Being in the ad business.
Yeah.
So billboards can be extremely effective.
They can be, yes.
But they're really expensive.
They are very expensive.
And you got 6 seconds. So
yeah,
not a lot of time.
You got really good for branding, I would say.
Right. Direct mail.
I love direct mail.
A lot of business owners like direct mail who are in the home services business.
Yeah, home service.
Because you're delivering your message right into their kitchen.
It's like a mini billboard.
It is a mini billboard.
But you have to do it consistently.
And the elements, including the headline and the specific offer and the call to action with the deadline, all that.
Yeah. That you can put a lot more words on that mini billboard than you can on a regular billboard.
So what message does legacy media convey in commercials? A headline.
A headline. Yep.
Radio, TV, print, outdoor, direct mail, either branding ads to tell a story or a specific offer with a call to action. I think your chances of building your brand through storytelling are going to be better in direct mail, radio, television. And I don't think it's easy to tell a story with outdoor. Because it's so few words.
Yeah, you really have to focus on your branding for outdoor.
But you can drive them to your website.
You can do that, but if people get the name and maybe a message like a CTA, then they can search for it.
So what media gives you the best combination of reach, frequency, and consistency with a single consumer prospect?
One media?
What media gives you the best combination of reach, frequency? This is a trick question.
This is a trick question.
You already know the answer because you know I've pounded this home a few times. What media gives you effective reach, frequency, and consistency for the least amount of money? You don't know. What would you guess?
Which medium?
Which media gives you the best combination of reach, frequency, and consistency with a single prospect? And which media gives you the effective reach, frequency, and consistency for the least amount of money? 1-to-1. It's the spoken word.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Radio or television. Television's just expensive.
I think, yeah, TV.
And it's hard to build frequency on TV, but in radio, you can do it every day, all the time.
I disagree with you on radio.
Yeah, well, how do you do it?
It's not just one thing.
Reach, frequency, and consistency.
Yeah, that's important.
What media is the best
You can do that through
for that?
OTT. You can do that through
What is OTT?
over the top.
What does that mean?
So like your YouTube TV, any of those ads.
Text crawl.
No, it's not text.
What did we talk?
You can do a video.
OTT?
Yeah, OTT.
Is that the 5-second clip?
No, well, that's pre-roll. That's different. OTT would be like a Hulu that has an ad in there or an ad that has to be watched.
So it's a 30-second spot on digital
15
television.
or 30 seconds,
Okay.
yes. I think that is a way. And I've used that and I've generated
Why do they
revenue
call it
from
over
that.
the top?
Because it was like the cable, right? And then it's over the top of the cable.
I don't get it.
It's just
I'm old school.
It's a term that they used.
So we don't really have an agreement between us about what the best media is for reach, frequency, and consistency.
Well, I disagree with you when it comes to radio.
That's okay. I'm an old radio guy.
You are an old radio guy.
But I can't tell you that I get that. I can't get that with digital.
It's just,
how am I going to get that with digital?
You're not going to get it with digital.
Well, that's terrible.
It's not one. You can't just put your eggs in one component. You can't just put all your eggs in the digital.
I want one component.
You can't do that, John. That's bad marketing, John. Don't advertise like that.
You can't have a media mix either because then you're spread all over the place.
You should differentiate between
you gotta focus in on something.
Depending on what your budget is, you got to differentiate your
budget
marketing
has a lot
strategy.
to do with it.
Yeah.
So people generally make purchase decisions with some degree of emotional attachment, and then they justify the purchase later with logic. I learned that.
No, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I'm going to buy this because I want it, and then after I spend the money, I'm going to justify it.
Right.
In order for a consumer to make a purchase, they must first have a triggering event in their life that calls for a purchase.
I think that goes to having good marketing. Right? A triggering event could be they have this need, right? So my heater is out. It's 20 below in Wisconsin.
Right.
I have a need. I need to have heat, right?
Right. Who are you going to call?
Right. I'm just going to search, and either I'm going to find the first person that I come up with, or this brand who's been nurturing us through different marketing tactics.
Our job as marketers is to put that brand in the minds of the consumer with enough reach, frequency, and consistency.
It's not just radio that's going to do that.
I'm not saying that.
Okay, but yes,
you got to have those three elements in order for your campaign to be successful.
You have to be proactive with your marketing to get
the problem that I have with digital is I can't reach the same people over and over again.
You can.
They're all different. They all fit some profile.
I think that if you buy a lead list,
that's different. But that's not digital advertising.
You can use a lead list with digital advertising to impact those customers on a consistent basis.
Geofence.
You can geofence.
But that's still, the consumers inside that geofence are not there day after day after day. I can't reach them with frequency and consistency.
Unless you're here's you buy a lead list, right? You hit that lead list with a direct mail campaign.
That's easy.
Okay.
That's a layup.
Hold on. And then you give that lead list to OTT advertisers. You geofence those addresses with display ads.
Okay.
You upload that lead list to Facebook for advertising. I think you can.
Can you?
Yeah, I think you can upload that lead list to Google for also advertising purposes.
That's something I've never done.
Now you're optimizing a lead list on 5 different.
You're going to have to show me how you do
tactics.
that.
I just know how to strategize and market.
I'm learning, but doing it and executing it are different things.
I'm just saying there are tools out there to get your brand in front of a cut. Even like Pandora or things that you can add.
Well, that's a specific audience. That's like a radio station.
Right. So
this is a tough subject.
It's not an easy subject.
Getting reach, frequency, and consistency on digital has been a problem for me mentally.
That's fair.
And I've never met anybody who sells digital advertising that can explain it to me with any degree of assurance that I'm going to be able to reach an audience consistently and build frequency, because they can't do it.
I understand where you're coming from radio and how it's reach, consistency, and frequency. I get that. But I think because radio is not dead, but
it's not as big as it used to be.
Considerably different. It's much
50
smaller.
to 75% of what it used to be.
It's much smaller than what it used to be 2, 3, 5 years ago. Is it as big
as digital?
I think it's smaller than digital.
Okay.
I think digital is out there. I don't think that if you're going to have a marketing strategy, if you have a certain amount of money that you can put in your marketing plan, you have to differentiate that across different channels.
It's expensive.
60% traditional, 40% digital.
So from that traditional, you're going to do direct mail, you're going to do some outdoor, you're going to do some radio or television.
Yeah.
And then you got
OTT,
some or OTT, which in my opinion, that's digital.
Okay. Yes.
And then you're going to have some components, Google pay-per-click.
Yeah.
Maybe some social media channel ads, but I don't know many clients that can spend that kind of money.
I don't think
that's hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Again, I don't think it's like, I've never met a client that's spending $100,000 on meta ads. I've heard of clients, or I've heard of companies that are spending that much.
Big companies.
Yeah, but they're in weird sales funnels.
That's like
and
Procter
all that
and
stuff.
Gamble. And, giant corporations.
Correct. I think $500 a month on meta ads is sufficient enough.
So this is a robust conversation.
Yes,
and I love it because I love to challenge myself to learn new ways and to be open to new ideas. And it's hard for me.
Yeah.
Because I've been so successful doing it this way.
Mm-hmm.
I can still do it this way.
Yep.
In spite of the fact that there's a lot of people out there that want to chase the shiny objects with digital. Mm-hmm. And I just haven't met anybody yet who's smart enough to explain it to me in such a way that I can feel good with my ability to generate reach, frequency, and consistency.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever going to make you feel good about that when it comes to a digital product.
Then I can't put a lot of money on it.
That's fair.
Because I have to protect my clients' money.
Correct.
And I am a guardian of those funds.
Yeah.
And so when I develop an ad campaign, I'm not into risk.
Right.
I'm into results.
Right.
And I've done it enough so I can generate results. And I want to meet somebody who knows enough about digital to be able to show me how to get reach, frequency, and consistency, and then I'll spend more money there.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. So this is an interesting subject. And we're not done talking about this because it's an ongoing lesson. And it takes experience in doing ad campaigns and seeing campaigns that fail and campaigns that succeed.
Yep.
That's how you learn.
Yep.
what works and what doesn't.
Looking at the data.
So if you want us to help you develop an ad strategy, we're going to have to sit down and hammer some stuff out.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a fun conversation, but there's no straight line.
No.
We'll have to work it out. So it's an interesting subject. Thanks for being with us today. We'll see you on our next podcast.